Participate in a conversation with once conservative, now liberal Midwest mastered prepared special education high school teacher and a self-proclaimed devil's advocate, East Coast conservative liberal, baccalaureate prepared registered nurse. These two strangers met, became instant friends, and realized their conversations are candid and epic. So join us weekly, ask us questions, and listen to these profoundly candid friends try to solve the world's problems, one discussion at a time.
Hey, welcome to another awesome episode of The New Theory with Monet and Jared, aka TNT with MJ. I am Jared.
I'm Monet.
And together we are teaching minds
and nurturing souls.
And Monet, gotta love it. I love seeing your face every week.
Me too. I love seeing
we've really
yours.
got it. Yeah, it's been we keep saying it. It's been a while, but
it hasn't been consistent.
Yeah. And that's going to be the key this coming year is just being consistent with that.
Yeah.
So look forward to seeing you on at least a weekly basis, but definitely we keep in touch. We definitely keep in touch on almost daily basis. So, well, that being said, what is it? First day of school for Arkansas residents.
Yes.
Arkansas students and teachers. We are all back in school. I will say that's kind of one of the cool things about Arkansas is that except for there are a few exceptions, but by and large, all of the schools, public schools, are on the same schedule. So we all start today, and then we'll all end on the same day in May. And at one point, they actually had the U of A and Northwest Arkansas Community College on that same schedule. So that was kind of cool when they had that going on. So that way there's just no question as when school starts, when school ends.
That's right.
And so that was the whole point of that. But anyway, Arkansas schools kicked back up today, just like a lot of other schools across the country. Not gonna lie, it was cool. It was great to see the students' faces again. It was great to be in the classroom again. It was great to, I guess, be doing my craft again.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm like, we're still in the middle of a fucking pandemic.
Well, I mean, were the kids wearing
You know
masks?
what I'm saying?
I know. They were wearing masks, right?
There was not one. No.
What?
Not for high school. For our district. Now, granted, I think I would have liked to have seen a mask mandate across the board. But I think they did the best they could to compromise to meet everybody's needs, so that way nobody's happy. Because that's that's the flip side of that coin on a compromise. Nobody's happy.
So wait, were the kids in your class wearing masks?
Not everybody, not every kid.
Okay, so some kids were, some kids weren't.
Some kids were, some kids weren't. And that was something that I did talk about because I do a first day presentation of, here's Mr. Middleton, here's the teacher that you're going to have for the rest of the year. And then the rest of the week I spend getting to know you, doing the policy stuff and doing fun activities and relationship builders and that type of stuff.
That's
but
beautiful.
I feel like on that first day, I need to set that tone from the get-go. Case in point, I let it be known from the get-go that, hey, despite what I look like, I'm a second degree black belt in Taekwondo. And if I have to put you down, I will.
Oh God.
And it's not gonna end well for either one of us because I will lose my job.
Yeah, right.
So I'm gonna make it worth it.
Yeah, right.
And so I've done that for that. That's been my
All
day
these
one
years.
for the past 3
Yeah.
years. I'm not even joking.
And they're like,
and but it's a matter of respect, and they understand that I'm coming at it, from a respect mentality ultimately.
well, at the same time,
I set that tone as at the same time that I don't do disrespect.
No,
I don't
And
tolerate
that's
it in
coming
my class. I will shut it down quickly if I hear it. And because this is not the place for that. We don't do that here. We respect and love each other. We're working together. We're all in the same boat here.
That's right.
One of the pictures that I show is of the world, and there's all kinds of there's different people across the board, but you don't see what skin color, because they're all like a silhouette.
Yeah.
And so it's all shapes and sizes of people. And so ultimately saying, we're all in this together. It doesn't matter what you look like. We're all we're all on this planet together, sharing the same planet together. So in the end, we need to be working together to make this a better place. And at the same time, I also have my background, my current background. That was one of the pictures I had on my slides. And so that actually resulted in a very interesting conversation with one of my students, who actually asked me when I gave them the opportunity to ask any question they wanted about me, what they wanted to know about me. Hey, we got about 10 minutes. Whatever question you want to ask me. Open
Please.
Book, no questions off the limit, or no limit on the questions whatsoever.
Okay.
And so one of my students, okay. And so she asked me, which one of these in my background right now do I value the most, or do I prefer the most? And so I kind of jokingly said, haha, all lives matter, right? Few of them kind of giggled, but all that being said, I said, I respect them all. I support them all. No matter who you are, the type of person you are always welcome in my classroom. I'm always going to help you. I don't care. You're a human being and deserving of respect and dignity. But that being said, to answer your question.
Oh, shit.
But that student also let me know that they identify as trans.
Okay.
Or that they can. I don't know how to word that. I may have worded that incorrectly, but that they, based on what that student said, because they use the word feel or believe or think, as in they don't really know, and so
and they're trying to figure it out.
Exactly, and so that student let me know what they prefer to be called. Which was cool. It doesn't matter whether it is.
No, it does, because I had a conversation with my children. My oldest daughter identifies as.
As far as the name goes, I didn't know. I was debating whether or not I should divulge it, but I'm like, it doesn't even matter. They wanted a different name. They didn't like their given name because they found it to be too feminine.
Yes.
And so they prefer to be called this name, and then asked to meet with me one-on-one to go over some preferred pronouns.
Okay.
So I'm like, cool.
That's my oldest
let's
child.
do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
I'm totally
that's
cool
my
with that.
oldest child. But
that's awesome.
I'm trying to explain to my oldest child, it takes time to embrace, not that I'm intentionally denying that their desired identity. It's just that it takes time to learn a new behavior, a new verbiage, a new understanding. I said, but at the same time, it feels like every conversation as a parent with a child that identifies as transgendered, every conversation somehow is engulfed in sexuality. And I'm like, and identifying with, and me accepting it. And I'm like, I've always, like, this wasn't an issue until you became of a certain age. And this certain age is much later than when you, quote unquote, came out of the closet. But this is also at the same time, it appears that you are identifying as trans. And I said, I understand it, but that's not all you are. I mean, we as parents, it feels like we are walking on eggshells in our country right now, because it's like, I don't want to offend, but at the same time, there's more to talk about than your sexuality. You don't hear me talking about being straight all day. And everybody's like, that's offensive. No, it's not. Because there's more to you. Are you kind? Are you loving? Are you respectful? What?
Compassionate.
Oh, compassionate. Yes, that's right. Sorry, Uncle Jared's work. Are you compassionate?
I was trying so hard to get you.
Not to, to say it. Just say it, Rode.
It's all good.
But
no,
it's like,
teasing.
I get it. I want to support
Yeah.
your movement. I want to support your rights.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
Yeah.
there. That's what I'm going to do. There's no, to me, I'm like, why are you even questioning? Just tell me where to be, what time, let's go. That's
Yeah.
not even an issue.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
next. I said, yes.
Right.
So my son was like, well, not everybody's there yet. I said, but I am. So stop victimizing me for what other people aren't there for. Let's look at the situation as it's worth. Just because I'm your parent, it's easy to be like, my mom doesn't accept me. But no, I do. It's just that I accept all of you, and you only want to show me this one facet of yourself.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to
there
turn
you
your
go.
first day of school with your students into this discussion. But
No, that's actually really great. I mean, honestly, because it just really kind of piggybacks on, I mean, my kind of on what I said, and then kind of got me thinking. I mean, I don't want to go into too much because I don't want to step on.
oh, divulge, of course.
Yeah, because we've not had this conversation. I'm not at liberty to make the choice myself. How about that?
Of course.
But yeah, our kids have mine and Cedar's wife kids. God bless. Anyway, long day. See.
And it's the damn pronouns, man.
I
was like, it's so easy to just say what I used to say, but I get it. Now we have to say this. Okay, but remember, it took you like 2 years to start talking. Okay.
Yeah.
All this time I was running my mouth and you didn't do anything, and then it slowly started with 1 and 2 words. So give me some fucking time.
Yeah. So
I'm
yeah.
serious.
So I mean, but to what you were saying, our kids have even said that they're claiming their identity. You know,
yes.
I'm like,
it's like,
wait. You're not even 18 yet. Let's slow down. I'm not gonna question. If you think at 16, 17, whatever that you're this way or that way, you want to.
Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah,
I'm not going to question that. But my point being is, have you lived life yet? Have you had experiences yet?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
But then,
Jared,
I'm
not denying that, a person can be born one way or another way or what have you. Please don't misunderstand that.
No.
It's just a matter of, how can you be 100% sure if you've not experienced
everything,
that or anything?
Yeah.
So.
And that's
anyway,
okay.
All that to be said, and
because
that's okay. You're right. I mean, but in the meantime, I'm not going to question you. If that's what you want to, if that's what you say, cool.
I didn't have these
but
conversations.
But please be open to the idea that you might end up changing your mind.
Yeah.
If you can change your mind. And I hate to say it that way. Please don't misunderstand. Because I understand that I have some understanding that there's okay. Yeah. Thank you.
No, Jared, you're saying it. I love that you're saying it, because it's like, we have these real feelings to say too. And don't condemn me for saying how I feel, but at the end of the day, I still accept you for who you are. I just want to interject my X amount of years on this planet, okay? And say, try. Look, I have a relative that has never been in a same-sex relationship ever, and actually had a situation arise where it happened.
Oh, wow.
And found it pleasurable solely because my relative was just totally interested in the individual, and it had nothing to do with sexuality. It's just that when the situation went to that level, when the relationship went to that level, it wasn't it wasn't knocked based on same-sex identity. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was like, and this particular relative, it's like, what? But at the same time, it's like, are you happy? Very much so. I'm in love. And
there you go.
That was the beginning, and that was the conversation. move on. What are you eating for lunch? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's
There you
continue
go.
our
Yeah.
regular.
Hey, let's go
Yeah.
grab a
So,
beer. You want to go grab? Let's go do
yeah,
that.
right. Let's do what
You
we
know.
do. Let's talk
Yeah.
about what we talk about. Okay.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
sometimes when you are having a conversation about your relationship with whomever, whether it be man or woman,
Right.
I'm okay. I'll listen. I want to hear it.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I would, whether you know, if it was considered a heterosexual, I would still listen with intrigue and, you know, ideas, because we're talking about individuals with emotions and feelings. So, I mean, I need the world to understand that this is just happening. And the only reason why it's getting so much attention is because people are just tired of living behind closed doors and suppressing how they feel. But at the same time, it's like, okay, we talked about this.
Flip that coin.
I'm not totally, yeah.
Because there's also
who
people
else?
on this that are wanting to put an end to that or try to squash it, so to speak.
And that's horrible.
It is horrible. It is horrible.
Nobody should have to stifle how they feel and who they are. Nobody should have to suppress that.
I mean, I come from, you know,
excuse me.
My mentality of, like, have I thought it through? Have I thought things through? As far as, and I have I imagined myself in those positions. And yeah, I have. And I can tell you that I don't want to live it.
No, please.
I don't want. So I know where I stand. But at the same time, there's, you know, kind of like our kids.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know. They've not lived any one experience or the other.
Exactly.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can say, well, I've imagined myself doing that. Really? Have you experienced it? Then you can't imagine it.
Well, I mean, they can imagine.
All you see. Oh, well, come on. All you see is what's on TV. You don't. There's.
Look, I just feel like
there's perceived realization, and then there's actual realization.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So I have,
like, if you've not experienced one thing or the other, and you're watching one side, you know, let's, you know, whatever. You get where I'm going with this.
yes.
You're only getting one perception, and so that all you see is that imagination, but you haven't experienced that, so you have no idea. You have no real idea.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and that can be the same. And so that's my point: is you've
So
not
just wait,
really experienced anything.
No.
So how can you really be sure of anything?
Well,
that's my point. You know,
my thing
I don't
is,
know. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm thinking right in that, but that's just where I'm coming from. And if anybody out there wants to correct me, by all means, please.
Well, that's the
Just be
thing.
respectful.
We're open to further discussion. We're
Absolutely.
open to it. At least we're not shutting it down, and we're not. I mean, we're not shutting it down, and we're interested and okay with. At the same time, we want resolution. We want comfort, contentment. We want to show our compassion. And then once you get to that platform of self-comfort and us, and you realizing we are comfortable, we've already been comfortable. Now let's move on. And let's discuss, let's get to other things. But this all encompasses the same thing, these identities of all kinds. You know? But what else happened in your first day of class besides this conversation?
And that was just a one-on-one conversation. I'm sitting here thinking that I don't know if that conversation ever would have taken place. I don't know if that conversation would have ever taken place had it not been for my background that I put on one of my slides.
Is this the background you used? Oh,
I put this on. I'll show you. Let's see. I'll have to show you some other time because I don't want to share my screen for the YouTubers and then leave everybody else out. But the background on my screen right now, my virtual background for those listening, I used as an image that I attached to a Google slide of mine that I was part of my introduction for my first day.
And it has a black fist.
It has a black fist behind the transsexual flag, encompassed with a black ring in the center of an LGBTQ pride flag.
Wow. Boom. Powerful. Beautiful.
And so when one of my students asked me, which one do you prefer the most, or which one's your favorite? I think that's what the word, I had to be very careful, but I did answer with the raised fist.
With a raised fist.
Yeah.
Which is the Black Lives Matter, without saying it and swaying or dissuading people, because for those, usually people that are like all lives matter, they're not that bright, so they wouldn't get it anyway. They would just say a white fist raised and be like, yeah, white power. Okay. It's like,
but I will say I did get some positive reception for this background, for that picture. There were quite a few who were quite impressed and felt and interestingly enough, it was more of my white students than the black and brown ones.
Let me tell you why, Jared. Because there's a class of white folks out there that have the same feelings you do, and they don't have anyone to turn to, because a lot of their relatives are still sitting back there like, hate them all. And they're like, no, I don't. But I don't know who to turn to.
That's interesting that you say that, because I had one of my more vocal students. Oh God, there's one in every class. But God bless her. No, she's awesome. She was someone that she saw this flag and thought it was really cool and thought it was fantastic, because she is one of 4 siblings, and her younger brother is mixed race, or is mixed.
Oh.
And so you get a lot of she's questioned a lot. Well, is he adopted?
Oh God.
Or something, something like that. And so we were having an open conversation. I was like, you know what? If I were you, I think I'd be asking, why does it matter to you?
Thank you.
Why does it matter that he's adopted?
That's my sibling. It's my brother. Period.
So, and then she's like, ooh, I like that a lot. I want to do that now. Like, you're turning, and I just call it what it is. You're turning their bias on them and making them question themselves.
Jared,
that's a critical thinking adult skill, just saying. So
Jared,
right or wrong.
People ask me when I talk about my little brother who lives in Arkansas, and I show you a picture, and they're like, and I leave them, maybe it's irresponsible of me to leave them in their own level of ignorance.
Oh, go.
But I don't even think I honestly, and I'm not, and it wasn't until you just said that, because I'll see the blank stares at the end of my discussion of whatever I'm talking about, we've discussed or we've done or you're doing. And I walk away like, and I can see like, and I'm like, oh yeah, right. He's white. I forgot to talk about that. Like I failed to mention he's white. Okay. And then I'm like, and bitch, ask me something else. Because that don't mean shit to me. Like, and they don't even ask. Like, but then again, you have to remember it's Monet. So it's like, whether he is a friend or a real relative, it is what it is. So we're not even, and I'm like, literally, I just realized, I think I challenged them, like, just accept it for what the fuck I said it is. And don't say nothing else. So exactly. I did. I showed your one of your lives that was recorded on Facebook, and I'm like, look what he's doing.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
but it's funny
be doing that again in a few weeks. It's gonna be awesome.
But so with that being said, so what else happened in class?
You know what? That was really about it. I mean, had some really good conversation. One of my
sounds
students,
like it.
I showed him, and I had this. You will know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the meme of the older indigenous male with the hat on.
That's my favorite.
And it's I love the quote. But the quote says, history is not there for you to like or dislike. It's there for you to learn from it. Yes. And if it offends you, even better, because then you'll be less likely to repeat it.
Amen.
And that's the exact quote.
Right.
I could, for those that are watching this, I could literally throw up a screen of that theme and it'd be the exact words. I assure you, I've read it 6 times today.
And what did the kids say?
Loved it. Loved it. My encouragement to them was, I hope it challenges you to this point. Because it does me when I learn something really new, and sometimes I even laugh at my own offense.
Yeah. Period.
Because I might cringe or like, ooh, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, you know. Or I might see someone's reaction to a historical fact, you know. And it's funny to me. Just because it like, oh my God, I learned something new, or oh my God, that challenged me, or oh my God, that doesn't sit well with me. Okay, well, great. What are you gonna do with that?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do with it? Yeah. And so it just it was cool to see the reactions, and
because the world is growing up.
And I had and the by and large they accepted it, and they read it, they loved it. Not love, I don't want to say love, but they read it, they accepted it, they respected it, and they understood it, which is even better.
Yes,
you know,
even better.
Because
that's the foundation.
I was able to have that. I was able to like change the word offend to challenge. And guess what happens?
Now it's thought-provoking as opposed to offending.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now let's think so we can come to a happy medium, as opposed to my point is better than your point.
Exactly. Now you're not defensive.
No.
You know,
I love
if
it.
I say if it challenges you, as opposed to offend you, like, to your point. Yeah. Changes the game. And if I'm able to, if that's able to be communicated at an earlier age at high school, because these are juniors and seniors coming through my door. I don't have any sophomores.
No.
I got juniors and seniors coming through my door. I've got young adults coming through my door.
That's right. We got to change the world.
Got to change the wording to change the world, but by and large, they didn't cringe at the word of offend. They didn't cringe. I want to hear.
I can't wait till next week. Didn't mean to cut you off. Can't wait till next Monday night for us to record, and I want to hear, because these kids took this knowledge, they took it home, and I want to know how it's going to transpire. And then what is I don't want to use the word fallout, but what's the result going to be the rest of the week in your discussions with the getting to know each other, the class building, and the introduction of subject. And then, because the conversation, you think, okay, so for those that don't know, he's now teaching math, okay? So teaching the math, but then how is this now social knowledge going to transcend and to be this core course? Because it's, even though we don't think it relates, it does relate in a way. It's all going to start adding up in here. And now you guys are going to be learning equations and so forth and so on. And all of a sudden they're going to talk about current events.
Right.
And is the teacher here going to say, hey, we got 5 minutes today? Is there any correlation between this and current events? Oh, there's so much we wanted to talk about today.
Or what they're learning in their own history classes.
I mean, they may to know that you're socially accepting of humans, period. I'm pretty sure they're going to use you as an outlet.
I would hope so. And
I hope so too.
Not to say that that's the point, but it's just a matter of, one, I need to set that tone of respect and decorum. But I also want them to understand that I'm completely open and as much as understanding as I can be, based on my own perspectives, to what they're going through. very much like it was last year, I have a very low percentage of white students compared to my black and brown students.
Really?
Seriously. Which is just fucking awesome in my opinion.
I know, I love it.
Real quick, in fact, I don't know if I set an example. I don't know what the word would be. I just felt like I didn't perpetuate a stereotype. I don't think. At least I hope I didn't. But I had a couple of students who needed like a technology agreement to get their Chromebooks and stuff like that. And so we have English, Spanish, Marshallese translations. And so I turned around to him thinking that it would be Spanish, Marshallese, but I'm like, I looked at addressing the entire class and looking at these two guys. I don't want to assume anything. So just so I'm not assuming anything, what language do you guys need this in? You know, and one of my students who knew me from last year is like, I need Spanish. We speak Spanish at home. And the other guy's like, well, I'm Marshallese. Okay, so do you need English or Marshallese or Marshallese or English? I need a Marshallese. Okay, cool. You know, and
wow.
And that was just the end of it. You know, and just and I'm trying to. This is gonna be a really fun year because it's going to really challenge. And I don't want to exaggerate or overemphasize the point or make it more than what it really is, but feels like it's going to challenge my anti-racism more so than it was last year because I fucking finally read the book for one, you know, and recognizing different biases, you know, gender bias, sexual identity bias, skin color bias, cultural bias, which all translates to cultural racism, gender racism, sexual identity racism, skin color racism.
It all kind of,
it all kind of, you know. Yeah, but does that mean that you have to be a word police? No. You just gotta
being
be
cognizant.
aware.
Yeah.
Just be aware of your audience.
And be thoughtful.
Exactly.
It's a form of customer service. When we're in the service industry.
It's not you. I mean, how one of my family members described it as how did they put it? You may not have to research everything that I say or research every phrase or word that comes out of my or that's been blah blah. No. Okay, don't do that. That's just asinine. Okay, because now you're just turning an anthill into a mountain. You know, there's no need for that. But then you're just putting too much work on yourself. At the same time, there's a lot of work to be done. Please don't misunderstand that.
But it's just being read your fucking audience.
Being thoughtful. Yeah, read your audience. Be thoughtful. Be mindful of your words.
Yes. Are you?
Holy shit! Think before you speak.
How about that? Oh, because you're not accustomed to doing that. Well, then you feel like you're being chastened. No, is how I mean, like, would you want someone to just be real blatantly belligerent unnecessarily and be like, oh wait, I didn't think about what I just said? When you hear it all the time, after a while you'll get sick and tired of it. Like one or two times, it's like, it's not a big deal. But when you hear it all day,
or
it's just like,
and you become conditioned to it.
Yeah. And this is the healing.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, but I'm saying this is the healing that our country has to go through right now. This is them realizing. Case in point, I posted the video of the woman that was at the hospital, and the nurse felt as though something was wrong. It was a Black woman, white nurse, white social worker, and they felt like the kid was going to go home to a hostile environment or whatever. Well, we don't even know where it all started, but the hospital employee called social services, the police, and hospital security. The woman was like, I'm getting out of here, and I feel like y'all disrespected me. Black lady. They proceeded, and the video is on YouTube. They proceeded to snatch the 2-day-old baby that was in the car seat out of the mother's hands, put her in handcuffs they said they ultimately arrested her for disorderly conduct from where did it begin from? Because of a misunderstanding between her and the YouTube video that I posted on Facebook broke it down beautifully. And I believe it was Sellers, Miss Sellers, Sellers, and the baby's name it's a boy's name, Zephora, something like that. I don't know. And it just recently happened. Cool. Needless to say, I think it's I'm pretty sure I'm saying it wrong, but it was totally wrong. And now with the new lenses, or the lenses removed that we now have, it's like, wait, that situation should have never been escalated to that level. So the woman being prosecuted, put in jail, she's still trying to get her son back. He's like a month or so change. She was breastfeeding. Like, what have you done? And this is just one story that has happened a multitude of times to minorities in this country, when non-people of color feel as though they have the authority and the right to judge and say, I don't think this is the right situation. And it's like, so when I say that, it's like, oh, not another story of, but it's like, no. We're not looking at it like, see, bad person, good person. We're looking at it like, how do we stop this from happening now? Because now we're no longer saying good person, bad person. We're saying who started it? Let's go to the beginning. Instead of looking at the end result and like, what did she do wrong? She did something wrong. All parties involved were Caucasian against the minority. Now, do we go as far as saying, no, we don't need to change the fact that all the people were white? We just need to change what's in their head to say, is this necessary? Like, you could say, let's do a follow-up. Let this woman take her child at home and we'll do what. I'm not saying who said, but the end result was definitely horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Why did you feel as though this had to happen? And when you watch the video, you're just like, yes, we need to keep seeing it so we can get sick and tired of it. So we can say, okay, our mindset, and not say, well, what would we do if it was a white person? Because they do white people like that too. Wrong. We need to say, what were you thinking?
Shit. Case in point, that white guy who went and blew out, came in and ransacked, I don't even want to know the word. Massacred. I don't know. He went into a grocery store and just started shooting the place up. And he comes out with a bullet wound to the leg, handcuffed. This was last year. It was a white guy. I think this was in Colorado. He went into a grocery store and just started firing bullets all over the place randomly. And police got called for an active shooter. He comes out with a bullet wound to the leg and handcuffed. Whereas George Floyd fucking dies because of a counterfeit $20 bill.
Well, they found out it wasn't counterfeit, it was just suspected.
Oh, that's why I did this. I'm aware of that.
Terrible. I mean, we know, Jared.
Point, that's just to your point, is what I'm saying.
But then again, should he have been killed though? Just saying. He is a human being.
Should George Floyd have fucking been killed?
Obviously not. But why then? Yeah, exactly. Why? Well, the guy thankfully has been prosecuted because we're tired of it.
Oh,
the
good.
world,
okay,
our country is tired of it. Yeah, our country's tired of it. He got charged maximum. He's going to be there. He's probably going to perish in prison. Over how many? 20-something, 40-something years? He got a long time. I know. What'd you say? What's that? The smallest violin? Like, nobody cares.
What do you want from me? What do you want from me? I'm sorry.
So with
You
that
made a
being
fucking
said,
choice to deal with it.
that's
At
right.
least you got your life to deal with it.
Yeah, you got your whole life. You can still see your family on visits. Real shit. Meals, in TV, whatever
3
you need to
hots in a
make your
cot,
life
baby.
comfortable.
3 hots in a cot.
All you do is wash your ass, wake up, and you're going to be an inmate for the rest of your life. But with that being said, that's just one.
Yeah.
We need
right.
to expose all these and ask, like, why did you feel as though that was necessary to contact? Oh, your pride was hurt because she told you to get out of her room. And you're asking questions. They mistaken, I think it's something mistaken her for being a drug addict or whatever, but some drug addicts keep their kids. So what the fuck does that have to do with anything anymore? Toxicology reports came back, both mom and child did not have drugs in their system. So my question is, even if you suspected it still takes days for the toxicology report. Let her go home. Keep do your work. You let your pride get in the way, and then you're using the police to be your dogs. And I mean, this woman just had a baby. She still had like I can't. When I have had 4 children, the last thing I want is somebody wrestling with me after having a baby, and they're throwing her arms behind her back. I mean, oh God. And I'm like, yo, she's still a human. Like, are y'all looking at that? Or are you just looking at a thing? Like, things don't have feelings. They have a higher pain tolerance. I mean, the list goes on. But not to, beat a dead horse, because some people are like, we get it. The fact of the matter is,
I've had that conversation recently too. That was funny. Just but at the same time, like, I mean, I was posed the question like, well, don't you realize that if you continue to spout the same thing, you're gonna eventually alienate people?
Oh, somebody said that.
What?
No.
Yeah, then perhaps those are the type of people that I don't want to associate with.
Yeah, right. I need to alienate.
If they're not seeing humanity for humanity and not giving some kind of superficial sugarcoating view of it, you're seeing the plight, you're seeing the suffering, you're seeing the hurting, you're seeing the good. But you're seeing the good, bad, and ugly, like you and I like to talk about in regards to history.
Well, Jared, we need people to stop seeing it and start internalizing it and changing it within themselves, so that when they see it, for me,
I need them to see it first. They have to see it first.
That's true.
For me, in my world, I mean, like I say, my world, my bad, my perspective, they have to see it first.
But then they have to realize they need to be educated. Now that they've seen it, they need to realize what is my part? Because it's almost like a show to them. It's like, oh, freak show going by. Oh, another freak show. Why do I keep seeing it? No, I need you to see it, internalize it in yourself, so you can be like, how? And then ask the question, how did this go so wrong? Exactly. When you see these things, and ask yourself, how did it go so wrong? Instead of accepting it for what you see, like, Black person getting arrested, Black minority getting shot. What happened? Wait. How did we get here? When you start saying how we got here, and then those people start getting questioned, the Karen and the young Karen and the Victoria's Secret weaponizing her tears because she got caught slapping a minority woman. And she realized she got caught, so she figured if she starts skitzing out and then chasing the woman. Oh yeah, faking seizure. Like, I passed out. Oh, yeah, and everybody ignored her. My question, but a lot of people were like, "Why didn't she get kicked out? Like, why didn't they say, excuse me, ma'am, can you please take this and go?" Because the change hasn't really hit mainstream society. Sorry about this. Are you okay? Can you still see me? Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. How much longer, mainstream. Jared? No, we got a couple minutes. Okay. We're gonna be wrapping mainstream it up. Mainstream to say, you know what? We got to change this behavior. I have some boss ass girlfriends that happen to be Caucasian, because you would never know, because they're my girlfriends. I don't need to talk about their race, but they happen to be Caucasian. Yeah. And they look at those behaviors and they're like, this is belittling to us, because nobody does that shit anymore. So for those other Caucasian women that feel like, clearly they do. you got to cut that shit out and boss up.
Yeah.
Cut it the fuck out.
Yeah.
And say, okay, you want to be a beast or you want to move on and mind your motherfucking business. Really?
Yeah.
No. There's times where if you see somebody trying to abduct a child or rape somebody or try to assassinate, but if what are you doing here? See, there you go. That's your mistake right there. What the fuck are you doing here? How about that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Real shit. You can't ask yourself that question. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but from an objective point of view, I'd be sitting here thinking, why do you think? Yeah, I hear him. Why do you? Sorry, if those that can't hear it, Lazarus is in the background meowing, and it's quite
my cat,
in my opinion, being a pet person myself and having 2 dogs. But I love my dogs; they're awesome. Anyway,
2 dogs.
But my question, yeah, 2 dogs, they're great. I digress. But my question would be, why do you think you have the right to behave that way?
Mm-mm.
You're a fucking adult.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world gives you the right to act that way? Why in the world do you think you even have the right to act that way?
Lack of discipline, lack of love of community.
Is it lack of discipline or knowledge of precedent?
Oh, ouch. That hurt. God. Just saying.
Anyway, and on that note, no, seriously, yeah, on that note, we're seriously out of time, actually.
This was a wonderful discussion this week.
Oh, and guess what?
It was
Guess
free.
what? We did not mention Candace Owens at all.
No, we were going to.
We were going to. We had planned to talk about it. Yeah, nope.
She'll get another day.
She had said, whole nother conversation, but she had said some shit that
black people can't be racist.
Black people can't be racist.
And there's going to be a shit ton of people out there. Exactly. That's going to be like, that's inherently okay. They're going to say it's inherently impossible. That in itself is racist.
Yeah.
Because white people. But the fact of the matter is, being black, I have heard black people talk about Hispanic people, and I'm like, that shit's racist. I have heard black people talk about Asian people, and I'll be like, that shit's racist. And it is. So but she's referring to black and white people, like black people can't be racist against white people because white people are the majority. And I've heard very astute
there's that whole oppression suppression mentality. But
the reality is she's a fucking asshole that I didn't want to give audience to. And I feel like, and the only reason, and I want to make it very quick. When Candace Owens first came out a few years ago, and I heard her on Instagram, not a million. I'm sorry.
No, I got you.
I retract that. And it was about the Black Lives Matter thing. That was at the same time I was like, that's right, all lives matter. But then since I've been educated, and remember, it's my platform. It's not, I subscribe or I don't subscribe. I didn't subscribe because I've already gone into lengthy detail as to why, but now has since recanted that ideology with regards to loving all by way of saying Black Lives Matter. She is only trying to pander and attract people because she wants to be the antithesis or the, like, I'm just wanting my name out there.
Antithesis, the angry Black woman.
Yes. And so I'm just like, no, you're doing this because you want attention and you don't want the greater good for anybody. You initially did, but you just want to be like, but I want to be the Black person to speak for a specific group of white people. I just want to be a person that happens to be Black that's speaking for all people. Okay. And I can go on female, Jewish, But I don't give a fuck about trying to pander to whomever. I'm pandering to good, loving, compassionate people. Okay. And that's it.
Those who want to,
that want to embrace change. But and that was the whole point when we were going to discuss about, when we move on from the kids and everything else, we're going to talk about how we are going to talk about Candace Owens because she's not sticking to a specific character, so to speak. She
Yeah.
is a specific character, but it's not.
Yeah, she's her
one
own
that
character, definitely.
Yeah,
But
she's
she's
definitely
not
her
taking a
own
stance on
character.
any one thing or the
No,
other.
she really
She's
isn't.
simply arguing against
Just to
everything
argue.
that's mainstream.
Yes. Period.
Yeah.
I just want to argue,
Yeah.
just to argue. I just
Yeah.
want to argue. And I just want to argue, just to argue. And it's not about arguing. It's about coming to, you know, a point. It's about coming to a resolution so that we can have a
Yeah.
better world to live in. And I know
Exactly.
Jared's like, Monet, what's your point? So
No, that was
my
the
point-
that was the point.
that's the point. That's my point this week. So please go out and get your vaccinations. Make sure that you mask up when you can, and which it should be all the time. You're around strangers, and don't forget you're doing it because we love each other, and we want all of us to be able to live. And with that, I say bye.